Hi everybody, this is Chris. Thank you for joining me. Today is a card tutorial and we're going to do underwater scene. It's absolutely gorgeous in real life. I hope you will try it out because honestly it's quite simple and it doesn't take that much time, very few materials, but what is most important is that the front of the card is the inside, and I put a lot of effort trying to find out something nice. You can of course adapt this to your taste, but it really looks nice, and what I prefer in all this scene is specifically these little, let me try to zoom in more than, yeah. Can you see this? Okay, these are made with glossy accents, so it's 3D. It looks like little bubbles of air that comes out from the bottom of the ocean, from the seaweeds and other fish. It's absolutely gorgeous. You have the same thing here on the top, and it really looks nice. And these colors are just perfect for summer. And I was inspired because I love scuba diving, and that's my world. So I wanted to share my world with you guys. So what you will need for this is a card base. And actually, I'm going to use two card base. My main card base, I'm a bit too close. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, you're going to use two card base. One that is going to be bigger than the other. Why? Because when you're going to ink up your card, I mean the inside of it, it's going to seep through, and maybe you'll be able to see this on the camera, but it's not perfect in the back. So instead of doing that again, I decided to first cut a piece that I folded that is slightly under the size of a bigger one, the normal A2 size card, and I will come and stick it inside. And so you will need two cards, one a little smaller than the other. You will need a front panel that I have embossed. I know that this way you're going to see it better. It's a Musique embossing folder, and it's the theme is Seaweed, so it's perfect. If you don't have this kind of embossing folders, you can use polka dots. It's quite neutral, it's perfect. I have used also a happy birthday die for this. And this one on this card I used gold. The same gold as for my fish tank, and on this card that is not yet dry I have used white. So you'll tell me which one you prefer, in gold or in white. Both are just fine. I've used also embossing dies to make the circle here, the back of my panel and the front side. That's easy to do. To get the gold part, what you need to do first, I've cut out one here that is a middle size. If you wish, I have nesting dies like this, and I have others. So I've used 3 of them. I have used the middle one to cut out the circle. I'm going to say my fish tank because it looks like a fish tank. And I've used the 2 others. I've skipped that one to make this circle to go around. So I don't have to fiddle with it because this one is the intermediate, if you call it this way, circle, and it's easy after to put the other one on top. That's the way I've done that. I'm not going to show you this. Now what is important is to use also distress ink. You can use oxides if you wish, because we're going to make it react with water. So you will need also a little bit of water. I'm going to use broken china and squeezed lemonade for this. Any other color, of course, will do. And I've cut out also some leaves here, some seaweed leaf with some dies. Different colors to mix and match, to not have always the same color in my background. And also some seashells here. Wooden seashells. I have 5 different shapes. I'm not going to use the fish because it's going to look maybe a bit weird. So I'm just going to go with the seashells. I've got 4 different... there's one missing. Which one am I going to use? I have a starfish, actually. Yes. There's my starfish. So I'm going to use these 4. It's going to be enough. Use whatever you have. If you don't have these wooden pieces, you can use, if you have dies, you can use dies. Or if you don't have anything that is water, sea theme, you can also print it out and fussy cut it. These shapes are really easy to cut out if you wanted to. You print them, you cut them, and you can stick them onto your page. That would be nice as well, with a little bit of foam to give more dimension. And it's about it. So let's get started. I'm going to use my card base, not the card base, but one of the two cards I was talking about. The card base is here. I'm going to use the smaller one. I've already pre-folded, and it's easier when you pre-fold it and then stick that onto your card. And I'm going to start with the yellow. I'm going to start with Squeezed Lemonade. And I'm not going to try to be perfect. The paper I'm using is a paper that likes to sink. The color is going to sink inside very quickly. And I'm really not trying to make this perfect. It's not the purpose of it. And I know that on the video it looks even more awful than it is in real life. But don't worry. So I'm first putting the lightest color. It's going to look, my blue is going to look a bit green in some areas. Like, you know, turquoise color. That's exactly what I wanted to go for. A turquoise, not just blue. I'm leaving some lighter spots. Alright, this is done. And I know it looks kind of really awful. I don't know why. That's the camera. But it's going to change. The ink is going to sink into my paper. Now I'm going to go for the blue on top. And I'm going to be generous with the blue. I don't want just a little layer. I'm going to darken it up. And then I'll kind of leave it to dry a little bit because, again, the colors are going to change when they're going to go into my paper. So I'll have a better idea if I need to put more afterwards. Okay, I've just finished layering my blue on top. Now what we're going to use is a little bit of water, just tap water. I'm going to put a little bit of water on my hands here and just flicker the water onto the paper. And when you have big splashes like this, is where you've dropped more water. This is why whatever kind of ink you're using, make sure that it's... Sorry guys, electricity issues. Today I think they've done it all to me, the dogs, the neighbors' dogs, everything. Okay, so as I was saying, if you put bigger drops, you're going to have bigger splashes here. I want to go on and do some more. I think it's not enough. So do some smaller, some bigger. It's going to look a bit more natural, like really underwater, you know, air bubbles. These are maybe a bit too big, but anyway. And it's going to take a few seconds for your paper to react. And I think it's going to be enough. Maybe some more here and there. I'm going to use this to make some bigger around here. Not too many, just a little bit. And this one is a bit too big. I'm going to hide it with a little bit of seaweeds. Alright, I'm going to leave this to dry a little bit. I'm going to change my paper. I don't want to wet everything. That's cool. Okay, so now that this is drying, I'm going to do the front part of my card. So I've already embossed my panel, and I'm going to use a little bit of blue, just plain blue, on top of it. I'm not going to use much. Need to zoom in a little bit because I'm not even sure you're going to be able to see the blue that I'm putting on top. I don't want it too dark. It's not going to be even either. And using a flat sponge is going to make it easier to apply. I've got a little bit of water here, but that's okay. It's going to dry out. I could have done them green as well, but I wanted to make them blue. I don't know why. So just a little bit of color, not too much. I don't want to concentrate on this part. I'm going to use my two circles here, so I'm going to put this one first. I don't want to do any dimension because I really want to focus more on the inside of my card. There you go. I'm going to put this one right here. Then I'm going to put a seaweed there. That's fine. I'm going to use just a little bit of glue, not too much. So it can stand out a little bit. You know, some placers are not going to be completely stuck to my paper, which I like. I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to put my, my gold circle on top. I like it this way. A little bit of, let me zoom out a little bit. I'm going to put it here, a little bit of glue. Not too much. I don't want my glue to seep out. There you go. And just there. I think it's going to be perfect. Yep. Right. Okay. That's good. Now I am going to, I have these spare pieces of paper where I cut out my circles. I am going to cut another strip of paper. So I'm using every inch of my paper. I don't like wasting, and I can use this big piece here if I want. You might want to use scissors for this. I don't cut really straight, so this is why I'm going to use my trimmer there. It's going to be easier for me. All right. And maybe here. Maybe I'm going to do it a little bit thicker, wider. A little bit. Yeah, I like it this way. That's fine. Okay. Now I'm going to make a little notch in there so it's going to look like a banner. So that's the way I do it. I cut here in the middle. I just eyeball it. And then I cut the sides as a banner. I like to do it this way. I think it's so easy. Again, I'm going to glue this one down. And I'm going to put it just right there. All right. So I've already made stickers out of my happy birthday die cut. And I want to put it somehow more or less in the middle. There you go. And I've done that with my little Xyron sticker maker. It's really convenient. I had this for years and I hardly ever use it, but I want to use my stuff up now. I don't want to hoard anything. It's just that sometimes it's not easy in France to find all the American refills for products. Like for example, I have Tombow like these. I like them because sometimes I use them when I have an issue with my my big one, or I don't have time to replace the. I use these, and they come with a refill. And in France, you can find them, but they are so expensive, and there's only one guy that makes them. So, I mean, honestly, if this guy doesn't work anymore, I won't have any refills. So that's why sometimes I hoard a little bit my stuff. There you go. And I think in gold, both a little bit of gold here is nice. You've got, again, the white option. That's totally up to you. Just tell me which one you prefer. This is it. And now I'm going to glue this onto my main card. So again, double-sided tape. Whoops. All right, my card. There you go. And I will put some glossy accents inside here in just a bit. I don't want to do it now because I'm going to have to open the card. So now I'm going to leave this one aside for a moment. I'm going to use this. I think it's good. I think it's dry enough. Okay, so I can glue it down now. Yeah, I can glue it down. I just wanted to make sure it's dry because it's going to shrink a little bit. So again, double-sided tape. Let me move this around. So you see it's seeping through. That's why I recommend putting a card into another card. So it's really going to look neat, especially if you want to offer this to someone or sell these cards. So I just need to make sure it's in the right place. Yes. That's already the front card. The front side is really, really nice. Okay, now let's glue the rest of our pieces. So I'm going to put I need to open this better. I need to check out where I want to put my seaweeds, and I've cut my dies into different pattern papers or bold paper, just not to have always the same look of it everywhere. Lighter paper. Let me see. I'm going to start with a big one on the side here, or in the middle. No, the bigger one, I'm going to put it there next to the fold. Try not to put your die onto your die cut on the fold directly, otherwise you're going to have issues with folding your card. And I'm putting a little bit of glue here and there, a few dots. And I'm going to put this one here. Another color and a smaller one. Yeah, another one on the side here. This one's going to do perfectly. All right, this one here. You can go off a little bit. And this one, another color in the middle of the two and on top. So you'll have some dimension if you don't put them, if you put some of them on top of each other a little bit. There you go. And I'm not sticking down every piece. That's fine. I like it that way. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I've moved my paper around a little bit. I need to put this out. That's good. I'm going to put this aside. Now I'm going to use my little wooden pieces here, my shells. And in the beginning I had in mind to put the shells down there, but I thought, hey, what am I going to put here? Maybe I could have put a big happy birthday, but I don't have a big die, so I decided to put the shells there. That's just, it's an option. You don't have to do it the way I do it. I'm going to put these like this. That's going to be perfect. Going to use the same glue. No hot glue today for once. There. There. These are really nice. And they're very lightweight. And you've reinforced your card anyway by putting 2 layers, so it's not going to be an issue. And now to finish it up, I'm going to use the glossy accent. And I'm going to come close here so you're really going to be able to see what I'm doing. Now big bubbles there. They're bigger ones. And you might want to come back and make them bigger because your paper is going to kind of, the glue is going to sink into your paper. So it's going to maybe flatten down a little bit. So what I would do when it's dry is maybe come back and put more glossy accent on top. So I'm trying to make the ones that are lower a bit bigger. Can you see this? Yeah, I think, yeah, a lot, oh yes, you can see that there is a lot of dimension. And I'm going up to the top. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because you're going to have my hand in the way. I'm going to do the same thing here. There you go. See that? That's going to make the big trick. That was the thing that I really wanted to put in because it makes things so real now with these bubbles. And once this is dry, what you're going to do is do the same thing on the top of your card. Actually, I'm going to try not to put my fingers in here, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do big splashes. Not splashes, but big drops. So it's going to give a hint to what's inside the card. So now it's a bit foggy, but it's going to go completely translucent. And by the way, I know that glossy accent, a lot of you tell me, and I agree that it tends to yellow with over time. But I don't mind in this example. If it goes a little yellow, I think it won't be that big of a fuss. And maybe it'll look a bit more natural. But anyway, that's it. So I'm going to zoom out once and for all. So this is the card, and I think the inside is really nice. You still have the back of your card to write a note. And here, I just love the front as well. It could be just enough if you don't want to do the inside, or you could have done maybe this part on the front of the card, but I was inspired by doing this. It's different than what we're used to do. So I want to give you more options. So there you go. I hope you like this video. Please give me some thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell button under the video. And if you have any comments, if you just want to come and say hello, please leave the comments down below. I'll always come back to you and answer you. And share on social medias. I also have a Facebook page where you can post all the pictures of cards or whatever you're doing. You can post there. It's also your place. Thank you so much. Take care and see you soon.